Brothers and sisters, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you, hoping that the Lord has been very merciful and He is actually taken good care of you. I am so glad today that finally my cold is gone, and I had actually serious pneumonia, but I thank God that by His strength, I was given again strength, that now I'm fully recovered. And you can tell from my voice, relative to other videos, that how my voice was, and relative to today. Today at least I'm okay, and the Lord has actually helped me actually recover. Now today I came across one of the most interesting clips ever. And for all of us know that during these rain seasons, there is something that is so significant that ever happened in the country of Brazil. And I remember at one time looking at it on TikTok and other platforms, and some of the prophets of doom were saying that the nation of Brazil is condemned by God because of the floods. And they were saying that thing, the floods was happening simply because at one time they entertained a ceremony that was actually praising Baal, and they were actually moving in the streets. I don't know which street was that. If anybody has the idea of that, please you can let me know. That there was this ceremony that they were actually, worshipping and praising Baal in public. And some of the preachers of doom ended up interpreting that relative to the floods that were happening in Brazil. It was as a result of punishment, which I did not actually agree with them, because they are natural phenomena that are happening. And recently, even in my own country, we ended up experiencing one of the most disastrous phenomena by nature. And this is something that we need to be very cautious, especially in taking care of our environment. We need exactly to be cautious, not cutting trees every now and then, and also not displacing the water bodies, especially the original ways of the rivers, how they are flowing, because even if you disperse or you divert the flow of the river, when it rains at one time, the river will just come back to its natural course. So those are some of the things that we need to know, that we are supposed to live in harmony with the nature. And today I'm privileged actually to share with you one of the greatest profound ministry that was actually done by Elder Gerrit W. Gong, that he ended up visiting some of our brothers and sisters in Brazil, and including even those who are members and non-members, that the church went and ministered to them, and to ensure that they are safe and the peace of God again is restored back to them, so that they can have their smiles back. And without further ado, let me just invite you so that we can be able actually to see what the apostle of the Lord, Elder Gong, actually did in Brazil. Please welcome.
Very tender to be in this area which has been so devastated by floods.
Most of Brazil was impacted by catastrophic rains that came at the end of April and left a wake of devastation, displacing around 600,000 people. No more so than in Porto Alegre, one of Brazil's most beautiful and majestic cities. The Taquari and Caí rivers overflowed their banks by more than 17 feet, the worst in 80 years, flooding the state capital city center and roadways, leaving thousands homeless.
E a gente saiu antes de começar, que a gente viu que o dia que ia estourar, nós saímos antes, começou a dar-lhe água e não parou mais.
On Thursday, June 13th, Elder Gerrit W. Gong of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles reached out to flood survivors to give comfort and solace.
Em aquele momento que aconteceu tudo, eu fiquei muito apavorada.
We this morning had an opportunity to visit with those who have been displaced, who are not in homes now, with those who have been volunteers.
Se me dissessem que eu ia cozinhar para 70 pessoas, eu nunca ia acreditar.
In the hardest of times, the Lord is with us, and He helps us and He blesses us, and we do it together.
Y también pues de poder sentir el amor de Él. Eu estava muito feliz e comovida por
causa de que Él dio unas palabras que llegaron a nuestro corazón.
To help, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints opened the doors of its chapels to those seeking shelter and gave refuge and life-saving sustenance to those in need.
I hope when the children wear them, they will feel loved.
We've been greeted by senior government officials who have been very appreciative for the wonderful cooperation as neighbors and friends and community members, as brothers and sisters, with our church members and our church leaders.
Muito obrigado, muito obrigado, muito obrigado.
We're just very honored to be able to come and be with you today.
Elder Gong's ministry included outreach to organizations and people in São Paulo too, accompanied by his wife Susan and other church leaders.
This was a very special day because we had the opportunity to meet with one of our humanitarian outreach groups. I think you bring big smiles to many people.
Operation Smile Brazil was the first stop, an organization that has a long association with the church and its members in helping hundreds of children each year, more than 800 this year alone, who suffer from cleft palates.
We have been working in two main pillars. One of them is the grant that we receive from the church and that we respect a lot because we know that it comes from the donations of all the people around the world.
The second pillar, volunteerism.
We believe in the power of volunteerism, in the power of love, of compassion. This is how we work together and we are really proud of it.
As part of the visit, Elder Gong presented the organization with a plaque of appreciation.
We just thank you for all that you are doing to bless God's children in such a remarkable way. You are good friends, and we are very honored to be with you.
A poignant moment occurred when Elder Gong met with Marcos da Costa, the Secretary of State for the government of São Paulo, who oversees the rights of the disabled.
Now, we have a specialty in wheelchairs and walkers and mobility.
The church produces and donates thousands of wheelchairs around the world every year.
Eu saio muito feliz do encontro, na certeza de que nós podemos construir muito em favor de todas as pessoas, em especial das pessoas com deficiência.
We're going to explore ways to specifically see if there aren't peoples and projects that can be worked on together, because this is his area of expertise, that might help bring freedom to somebody who can have a mobility device, maybe for the first time.
Nós temos no estado de São Paulo 3.300.000 pessoas com deficiência, mais de 1 milhão com deficiência motora. Há muita sinergia de trabalhos que poderemos e iremos fazer em conjunto.
At the church offices in São Paulo, Elder Gong and local church leaders welcomed Johnny Saad, president of one of the largest communication groups in Brazil, who once produced a documentary about the church that was viewed by 50 million people.
Eu sou dos fãs e de uns admiradores da igreja e do trabalho que vocês fazem aqui no Brasil, nos Estados Unidos e no resto do mundo.
He, of course, is very interested in all kinds of communication. He said, I want to help make sure that your message gets out because we're concerned about the same things, about society being open and fair. And so we're delighted to have that wonderful conversation with him today.
To mark the occasion, Mr. Saad was presented with a statue representing the family and a personalized copy of the Book of Mormon at the foot of the Christus in the São Paulo, Brazil Temple Visitor Center.
His arms are always stretched out to greet us.
Eu me senti como se fosse membro da igreja, como se fosse membro da família. Então foi uma conversa franca, informal, sincera, com trocas de experiência de lado a lado e sempre procurando saber o que nós podemos fazer.
You know, it's very tender, sacred to stand with someone who says, I believe families are meant to be forever, and to be there at the feet, the base of the Christus statue, and to be reminded that he has marks in his hands and his feet is the resurrected, the living Christ. To have that sacred kind of moment is just a very special thing.
So, my dear brothers and sisters, as you can see, that is what the apostle of the Lord actually did in Brazil. And you can see even from the pictures here, you can see the wreckage, what really the floods really did. And this was actually catastrophic. A lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people were actually in need. And at times I was thinking, like, my heart went exactly to the saints, members of the church who are really affected. That was actually terrible and horrible. And most of the time when I, at times, pay my tithing, I am always like reminded that these are some of the things that we help alleviate and help other people. Not necessarily that we must actually know them or they must be our parents and all that, but out of those contributions of tithing that we do give, the Lord actually blesses other people afar from other nations, that they are able actually to be blessed and they are able to be given another hope and opportunity for them to actually collect their pieces and begin again with their lives, which is actually good. Like that, when you see the saints moving forward and the church really growing, and the apostles are really ministering and different leaders are doing their duty, it is actually showing you how the Lord is actually doing his work. And the Lord is counting on you, he's counting on me, he's counting on everyone to be able to lift one another and to be able actually to move forward with greater faith, that as we move forward we feel of his spirit, and he's also able to bless us as he's give us direction through his prophets and apostles. Otherwise, my dear brothers and sisters, I know the church, we are engaged in a righteous cause, and the church is actually true. The leaders of the church are also there, leading us in the right way and showing us what Heavenly Father expects of us. Otherwise, I know if we follow what the prophets are doing, we follow what the leaders of the church, the apostles, what exactly they're doing, and with the great examples they're actually showing us, we can be able to do that in our very own small way. We can do that in our own small way. We may not actually go to Brazil or wherever to minister, but you can minister to a brother, a sister, a friend, just within your locality. And that is the Spirit of God that leads us to do that. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you, and I'm looking forward to see you again next time. Thank you.